I understand.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Wonderful. Welcome, everyone, to There's No Crying in Business. Episode 4 with Brian Basilico is our guest today, and I am Raven Perkins from promotingdirectsales.com. And I have my co-host, Mathia Ford. Say hi.
Hi.
And so we like to start the show by just giving you a little recap of what to pay attention to this week or what's been going on this week in our businesses with the Promoting Direct Sales people. Just a reminder, tomorrow is a very big Party Game Profits webinar. You're going to love it. It is my most favorite, most anticipated, most well-loved webinar that I do. So everybody's going to want to be there. That is free. And you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled in our Facebook group, because over the next 7 days, the biggest thing to ever happen to promoting direct sales is happening. And that's all I can tell you, other than just, you might have noticed some of the weird changes. I know, it's that dramatic.
Dun, dun, dun. You needed some sound effects on that one.
You know, does the Minicam have that where you can just put like a sound effect in and do like
Yeah, unfortunately Minicam doesn't have the audio thing, but I need to get a mixer so I can do that and put in all the cool sound effects.
Like all the old traditional radio that we used to do, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't do it, but
I did.
Oh, so pay attention. This next week is a big one. And I'll run it over to you, Mathia.
Hey, I'm having a great week. The kids went back to school, so I'm able to get some stuff done. And I'm just doing what I usually do, which is getting my Amazon stuff ready. It is already feeling like it's close to Christmas. Somebody wrote on the Facebook the other day that it's like 20 Sundays or something till Christmas, but that can't be right.
That's
Can
just...
it?
It's not even Easter yet. How could it be that?
No,
you know,
that's not right.
People
It's got to be at least 30.
Yeah.
Talk about Christmas. It's still March.
Anyway, I'm building up for Christmas because a lot of my you have to kind of buy a little bit at a time or they get overwhelmed. It's kind of a funny thing. So I've just been working on that, and I'm excited whatever Braven's got going on. I'm kind of worried about it's exciting though, so it must be positive. So
very positive.
I'll be in suspense.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm just kind of having a laid back, get a catch up week, and
well, wonderful.
What's going on with me?
Well, I would love to introduce our guest tonight. Our guest is the fantabulous Brian Basilico, who is an internationally recognized best-selling author of
I'm
It's
an
Not
author.
About You. I'm just getting hungry because his book is It's Not About You, It's About Bacon. Relationship marketing in a social media world. And he has a new upcoming book called The Bacon System, Marketing Recipes for a Sizzling Business. And
oh, wow.
I know, isn't that great? I mean, I'm looking for recipes in the book, but I know that it's going to be business recipes, but it's still probably going to make us all hungry, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Hungry for new business. That's the point.
Yes, and you know, bacon is the most perfect food on earth, so you could not have chosen a better...
It's the duct tape of food. I mean, you can literally wrap bacon around anything and make it better.
You know, it doesn't matter if it's sweet, if it's savory, if it's salty, whatever it is, bacon works with it.
Have you ever had chocolate-covered bacon?
I have.
Isn't it awesome?
I have not.
Oh, it's fabulous.
It is awesome. The only bacon fail I've ever had is I was convinced to have deep fried bacon once, and it didn't work. It just, I got it, and I'm not a deep fried foods person to begin with, but I love bacon so much that they battered it.
Was it breaded? Yeah, I was going to say breaded bacon.
Yeah, that was a bean batter, and they stuck
it's like you cover the bacon with something. The bacon's supposed to cover something else. What's up with that? Those people are crazy. Yeah,
I was so upset. I'm like, this could possibly ruin bacon for me. But then I had the chocolate covered bacon, so everything was right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
that reminds me of fair food. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, fairs are very odd that everything gets deep fried, even like cheesecake and things. And why would you do that? No, no.
And Twinkies. I mean, it's like, deep fried Twinkie. Ugh.
Well, Twinkies are not really a food, so they can kind of pass for anything.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they pass, but we won't go there. That's a different, completely. That's a different show. That's a health show. Okay,
PG,
yeah.
Remember?
So, Brian, for those of our guests here tonight that are uninitiated, why bacon?
Well, I'll give you the story. All right. Mm-hmm. So the story is this. I was giving a speech in LA with a couple of my friends. I was talking about social media to a convention called the Craft and Hobby Association. And one of my friends, Georgianne, says, okay, I'm going on Twitter and I'm saying, giving a speech, CHA, LA 2012, #bacon. I'm going to get 10 new followers by the time we're done. It was a 1-hour presentation. She was completely wrong. She had 20 new followers in an hour. And I went, whoa. So I started doing something. I started taking out my cell phone and, I go to a lot of breakfast meetings. Now I pull this thing out and I take pictures of bacon. I put it up on social media and people are going, dude, do you have a prepaid plan with your cardiologist? Because they kept seeing all these pictures of bacon and it just exploded to the point where there isn't a day that goes by right now where I'm not getting at least 3 to 5 pictures of bacon on my wall. So the way the book came about is I was writing a book. It was originally it was a why-to book on a how-to book on social media. And I started writing it, and about 3 months into it, I figured out that everything I wrote was completely obsolete. It just wouldn't work. So I changed it to a how-to book. And then I had one of my customers, I was sitting down meeting with her, and she said, I told her, I said, I'm writing this book. It's called It's Not About You. It's about relationship marketing in the social media world. And she says, no, it's not about you. It's about bacon. And I went, oh my God, you're so right. And it just exploded and it took off. So that basically the whole purpose about bacon is it's a brand. It's a way to brand yourself to make you stand out online, get yourself noticed. So everybody's got a bacon, whatever the things it is, could be your kids, could be sports, could be your hobbies, could be anything. Everybody's got something that makes them stand out. And, one of my bacons is my dog, and that's why I had such a rough day. He's been sick the last 3 days and I literally had to steam clean the entire house. But the number of people that commented on that was just amazing. I mean, I probably had 250 to 300 comments on stuff. How's Buddy Guy? How's he doing? That's bacon. It's what makes you human in online marketing. And that's what people really want to know is are you the real deal? Are you somebody I can know, like, and trust? So that's the whole bacon story.
And bacon is definitely something you can know, like, and trust.
Oh, amen. Yes.
I was thinking bacon's not something that robots eat, so that's why it's so cool.
Yes, it is. Yes. And vegetarians and a few religions don't like it, but that's okay.
They can live vicariously through us.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. We can go down that road, but
that's the whole audience thing. You're not playing to vegetarians and
right.
Other your audience eats bacon.
Well, some of my audience doesn't. That's okay. They get the metaphor. And I was giving a speech and this one lady walked up to me and she goes, I am totally offended by the name of your book. And I looked at her and I said, ma'am, do you realize that every single day millions of vegetables are being slaughtered for salads? Can we please stop the madness? And she went, and walked away. And that was it. Some people get it, some people don't. It's a metaphor. It's not, it's not like I eat bacon every single day, and it's not like I'm working. I've tried so hard to get pork councils and bacon companies to sponsor this and they won't, but it's really not that. That's not the point, The point is it's all about the bacon.
Bacon's also a metaphor for money, right?
Yes, it is. Bringing home the bacon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So how did you get started in all this? How did you decide to become an entrepreneur? What was that path like for you?
Oh, my God. I actually started at a really young age. I mean, the first entrepreneurial thing I did, and this dates me, it's way back. Um, McDonald's used to have this thing where they did muscular dystrophy like carnivals, and the money that you raised, you would be able to bring in and give to the McDonald's, and they give it to muscular dystrophy. I did that, back when I was a little kid. When I was 18, I actually took a bunch of gear that I had and turned it into a recording studio in my dad's basement. And that was really my first legitimate business where people were paying me big bucks to do things. So I was recording bands, I was doing commercials and things like that. Left that job and went to work for AT&T as a video producer for a number of years. I started out as a cameraman, then worked to learn to edit and then do video. And then I quit that job and opened up a commercial recording studio where I did jingles. I did every Avon Lady cassette in the United States, True Value Hardware, Tiger Toys, all those kind of things. Sold that company to another company, did a stint with Arthur Andersen, then went to work for an ad agency where I learned Google ads and online marketing and banner ads and all that kind of stuff. And then 15 years ago, I started this, and I said I can't. The biggest problem is I cannot play well in the corporate sandbox. I just can't do it. So, and I really knew my passion. My passion is about teaching. And I basically turned this business into a way to teach people how to make more money. That's the whole purpose of it. So that's kind of the journey.
And I love that you managed to escape the corporate world in order to be there for all of us that are looking to grow our businesses and to learn how to get started. So we're very glad that we managed to steal you from that other world.
Yeah, I'm glad to, and so is my wife. Trust me. That didn't work so well.
So the name of our show is There's No Crying in Business. And
yes.
What we like to do is we love to ask our guest of the week to tell us about a time in their business when they either did or could have just broken down, maybe given up, just a trying moment that happened in their business that they might look back on now and laugh, or, they still might look back on it and say, wow, I can't believe that I escaped that. But what was a moment, Brian, in your business that you could have cried with?
So I only can pick one, right? How long is this show?
Half an hour.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. The biggest one is when I owned my recording studio. I had 5 employees. We had $250,000 worth of gear, $500,000 worth of business. New owner buys the building, does some work outside, and flooded the entire basement, where my recording studio was. Office on the first floor, basement studio. Flooded it with raw sewage and shut me down for 3 months. But still wanted to get paid for rent. And oh yeah.
Did.
literally had to move the business to a new location. And at the same time, in order to do that, we had to shrink because I couldn't afford, basically we had to take everything and put it into a more compact space. It was one level. I had to go get a job myself in order to support my family because I couldn't afford to pay my employees and myself at the same time, just because of the loss of business and everything that happened. So I'm working at this third-party company, and my employees, working in the office the whole time, schemed and said, guess what? We're going to go start our own studio. They took all of my clients and all of my business and left me basically with this new studio with nothing. And at that point, I owed the IRS $7,000 in back taxes. I owed $75,000 in bills, and I had no business. And I had to figure out how to fix it.
What did you do?
I kept working at it. I just literally, the true story is I got a pack of cigarettes and a 6-pack of beer after coming back from my work to do accounting, and sat down in my office and said, gotta give up. And what's going to happen? And the next thing you know, an intern came in who said, hey, I heard you're closing your business. I want to buy gear. He bought one of the 2 studios because I had 2 recording studios at the time. One was small, one was big. and he bought $7,000 worth of gear, which paid off the IRS. I kept it going long enough that one of my clients said, I love what you do. We want to buy your business, and we want to bring you and build you into the fold, and ended up paying me exactly what I owed for all the rest of the gear and zeroed it out. It just took having the guts to say, I'm not giving up.
And that does take a lot of guts. So many times, so many of us are in that situation where it's just easier to walk away than to keep going on whatever it is that our dream is. So it's great. It's great to hear real life stories from real life people that
You broke up a little bit on the last piece, and you're kind of frozen on my screen. I don't know if you can.
You're kind of
So what did
Brian,
you?
I wanted.
Go ahead.
Oh, I couldn't understand what Raven was saying either. I apologize.
That's okay. This is Blab. It happens.
I was wondering.
I run a Blab show too. I know. It's like sometimes it's like everything's great, and sometimes it's like not so much. But
I was wondering, how do you deal with that feeling of betrayal with your employees? You know, these are people that you worked, you brought them in, you trained them, you do all this stuff with them, and then next thing you know, like you said, you're already down because you're working to try to help them to job, and then they kind of quote unquote betrayed you. So hey Raven, welcome back.
Hey.
How do you do that? And the next time you go to hire employees, the next time you go to do something, what did you do differently? What did you change?
Well, the first thing is I'd never do employees again. I do everything virtual, which is just the nature of the beast. And I don't necessarily think of it as a betrayal. I think of it as a survival. I mean, it wasn't their fault that the business did what it did. You know, it was my responsibility. I take full responsibility for that. And it was tough. I mean, it was financially tough for everybody. So they made a business decision to go off and do that. And what I had to do was reinvent myself. And that's one of the things over the course of years that I've learned to do is reinvent. Here's the bottom line. I had $250,000 worth of gear. And right now you can go get an app on your iPhone that has as much power as that gear had back then. And you can do recording on your phone. So, I mean, we're talking, reel-to-reels and digital mixing desks and all the gear and patch cables. And, you can do all that on your phone now. So you have to learn as a business person to constantly reinvent yourself, constantly turn yourself into somebody who's new and relevant that makes sense. And the ultimate goal with all of this stuff in running a business is, how can you make other people successful? How can you help clients to actually generate more business, be better, whatever it is that you do? That's the thing that's the hardest thing to do, is not take it personally, but really understand the services that you're providing and give back to those people so that you become an asset to them. That's the tough part. That's the really hard part, is reinventing yourself and thinking about, what do I need to do differently to be relevant? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically you reinvented, decided, I'm not going to have employees again. Next time I'm going to do more virtual. And it sounds like you had developed relationships, which, even though you said it's about the bacon, it's also about relationships, right?
Oh, it's all about relationships.
Some of those relationships.
Oh, they did. I mean, the people that I talked about with the bacon that we spoke with, those were some of my best clients, my biggest clients back then when I owned the recording studio. They used to work for Ben Franklin Crafts. Do you guys remember Ben Franklin stores?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
They came into my studio and we recorded music on hold for every Ben Franklin store in the United States. I sold them the boxes, and those guys came in and recorded the tapes that were on hold. And it was through that relationship that they got me out to speak in LA on social media right when my first book was coming out. So, those relationships to this day, I mean, when my dog was sick last night, Georgianne, same person, was on my Facebook wall, my wife's Facebook wall, asking about our dog, Buddy Guy. How is he? What's going on? Those relationships is what sustained me over these years. And that's really the key is, you've really got to build strong relationships with your customers, your vendors. And I'm still friends with all those people that were in my business. I mean, Tammy and John and Bruce are, those were my 3 employees at the time. They all went their own ways. They did their thing. And to be frank, Tammy no longer works there. Bruce no longer works there. And John, you don't hear much from him, but I think he still has a recording studio. But they all had to reinvent themselves too. So no ill feelings. It's just everybody's got to do what they got to do to survive, right?
Well, and I think, don't want to get into the woo-woo stuff, but holding on to that frustration or feeling anger or something at someone for a very long time never serves you well. It always serves you better to let that go. And in my opinion, karma will take care of what it needs to take care of. I mean,
yeah, karma is one thing, but one of my, and I am somewhat religious, but I don't, try to put that out there. But one of my pastors taught me one of the best lessons I've ever learned. He says, harboring ill feelings for other people is like drinking poison and hoping somebody else dies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially when you learn that, and you just say, basically can concentrate on yourself, concentrate on the things you can control, because you can't control a whole hell of a lot. Make the best of what you've got and continue to grow and evolve and learn. Then you become a better entrepreneur as you go along. That's important. I mean, that's the thing that we all have to do as entrepreneurs. When I first started this business, the whole business was built on doing business card CDs. They're, business card CDs were basically CD-ROMs that were about that big that fit into CD players. And, most computers don't come with CDs anymore. The programming that I was doing back then, I was doing CD-ROM development. There is no such thing. It was putting videos on CDs. And now video is all streaming live on YouTube and Vimeo and Blab and Periscope and, Facebook Live and all this other stuff. I mean, things evolve. If I stuck to that business model, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You have to constantly go with where technology, the industry, the marketplace is asking you to go. And what really kills most businesses is the fact that they think they've got a skill set and they stick with it, but they're not willing to grow and evolve and learn and continue to build themselves and their business. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think
Amen.
the only thing that
Amen,
is constant is change. And it's almost like it's like you finally get something and then it changes and then you have to keep going. There's no stopping. There's no pausing. It's always moving forward and learning more and implementing more and changing things up. And if something doesn't work, that's okay.
Right,
Something new will come right behind it in 5 minutes.
And the pace of change is happening faster and faster and faster. And it's those that I hear so many people that say, I want nothing to do with Facebook. I want nothing to do with LinkedIn. I want nothing to do with any of these things. And unfortunately, that's the way of the world right now. And it's not because that face-to-face networking is dead, because it's still alive and well. But the continuation of relationships, because of time, because of technology and everything else, happens online. So you need to learn to adapt if you want to stay in touch with people and be in front of them and be top of mind if you're going to be somebody who's going to be successful in business. It just is the nature of the beast, right?
Yep. I heard some statistic, and I could have it a little bit off, but the general gist of it was along the lines of all the information that the world had in records from the beginning of time till the year about 2003. we have that much information being replicated every 2 to 3 days now. And
it is because, I mean, think about it. You know, most information was printed on a newspaper, which was daily. And the problem with a newspaper is that was always yesterday's news. You know, when you see something like, you know, not to date this particular broadcast, but the Belgian bombing yesterday, I mean, it's on Twitter the minute it happens. And then, you know, all the news stations get in there and everything is being reported real time. And it's, you know, there's cameras everywhere. There's video everywhere. I mean, these things, I wrote a blog about this, and what I called it is the 75 things we used to have individually that we now carry around in our pocket. It's a calculator. It's our address book. It's our calendar. It's a video recorder, audio recorder. I mean, it's all these different things. Technology has completely changed the way that our lives evolve, and it changes our relationships. It changes everything. But it's so important to stay in tune with what's going on with that little device.
Yeah, I remember I was one of the last to jump on the smartphone bandwagon, and within, it seems like minutes, I had adapted to it like it was an extension of my body, and now I can't ever imagine a time that I didn't have it.
It'll change your life. I mean, there's so much information on there. So yeah, I mean, the amount of information that's being put out from all over the world. I mean, you could be reading tweets from one of the coolest things I love about Blab, and I love about, you know, podcasting and stuff like that, is that I get to talk to people from England, from New Zealand, from Australia, from South Africa, and all those people. I mean, it's like there is no boundary anymore. You know, the world has gotten that much smaller because of technology. You know, I can't fly to South Africa and do that. I could do it online like that.
You know, I heard, I'm sorry, Raven. I heard yesterday a quote, and they showed Hillary Clinton talking, and she said, "How tall does the wall have to be about the internet?"
Yes, right.
Referring to Donald Trump's wall. And it really made me think, you know, that there are countries that try to, you know, limit the internet and control what people see, but that information always somehow gets through, and now it's via the internet, or it's, you know, text messages or something, or Twitter. But to have information, now we have a need to find leaders like yourself, or like Raven or myself, to help them decide what is good information, because there's all kinds of information, but what is the best information? What's the best way to do things to kind of do that curation for people?
Yeah, and the bottom line is then, you know, from a business perspective, and this is where I jump in, and that's what the Bacon system is about, is how do you harness the internet to get people to pay attention? You know, because there is so much noise out there. How do you do things that are going to get people to literally want to engage with you? Because, I mean, you go into a Twitter feed, you can see, I'm looking at mine over here. I've got 5 screens in front of me right now. I'm a geek, I'm sorry. But, you know, this one over here, I'm just looking at it, and literally, I mean, it's going like this. That one message, you can't even pay attention to it. They're just going down that fast. And I've only got 2,000 followers. You know, imagine somebody that's got 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, a million. You know, you can't pay attention to that stuff. So you've really got to figure out how to rise above the chaff and get yourself noticed in a way that people pay attention to and ultimately react to. You know, that's it. That's the hard part. That's really the hard part.
And like you said, you have to do that by being helpful to them, not yourself. Right. You have to see it as, what am I doing for my customer? What am I doing to make them better? You can do anything you want in the world as long as you don't mind who gets the credit, type of thing, you know, helping people and that is what gets you eventually your audience and your relationships and everything else. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar said you can have anything you want in the world as soon as you learn how to teach other people to get what they want.
Yeah.
And Brian, when should we expect the Bacon system?
The book itself should be out either May or June. Yeah, it's right around the corner. The whole book
Right.
is written, but the process, and this is my fourth book, is it's in process of being edited. I have an editor, and then I have a proofreader, and then it has to be laid out and, get some proof copies out there, get some, reviews, responses, clean up some of the stuff. So it's pretty close. I was really hoping to have it done by April, at least the first version, the proof copy, but I'm not sure I'm going to have it done by the first of the month, but it's coming soon. Absolutely, yeah. Just look
And we
up
can get that
Brian
on Amazon,
Basilico. You
yes?
search Brian Basilico on Amazon, you'll see all my books and my stuff. You probably can,
Probably
yes,
search
yeah.
bacon and find
Although,
it.
the biggest problem with Amazon is there's a million bacon cookbooks, and it's much harder to find because it's marketing books. So yeah, you can search bacon, you'll find it. It may have to go through 4,762 books on recipes first, Exactly.
So it'll be nice and
Hungry for new business. Go cook some.
now I want
they make
bacon.
microwavable bacon now too, so you can just pop it in the microwave. You're all good.
Oh, it sounds
Bacon
like a
wrapped
good thing for
eggs.
Easter
Think about
Sunday
it.
coming up, right?
Ooh.
Bacon wrapped eggs. I am going to attempt to wrap an egg in
Please,
bacon,
and put it up
I
on my
will take a
Facebook wall.
picture of it
You'll
for
be
you.
famous.
I will do that. Oh, well, that is the time for our show this evening. I want to thank Brian Basilico for being our wonderful, wonderful guest tonight. Mathia, did you have anything else to add?
No, we are going to be on next week, and I don't know who's going to be on with us, but we'll have somebody.
All righty.
Yeah.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
let you know.
We're resourceful.
But I appreciate you, Brian.
Wait, I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys and share the story, and look forward to following you. Follow me on Facebook. I'll follow you guys on Facebook, and bottom line, let's stay in touch and continue this conversation.
Absolutely. And the secret code word for those of you that are in my group
Bacon.
is bacon.
And anybody in your group that's having a birthday, happy birthday to you. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I want that birthday cake. That's what I want for my birthday is a bacon
Well, if you
cake.
stay
All
Facebook
right.
friends with me, I send out birthday wishes all the time. There's certain people I do send that to. So, you never know. You never know.
Wonderful. All right. Well, everyone have a fantastic evening. And
That's right.
Amen.
No more crying in business.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.